Hello, my lovely friends. My name is Ava, and here are the 10 books that I would love to read before the end of the year. This is my 10 before the end. We'll see if I get to these. I've been in a little bit of a slump the past 2 months. Honestly, I'm not going to be hitting my Goodreads goal. I will not be hitting 200 books. I don't care though. I think I'm at like 163 or 162. That's still good. That is still good. But last month I only read 7 books, and that has not been like my normal. I normally read double or triple that amount a month. So we'll see if I actually get to these 10. Here's to wishful thinking. These are just 10 books that are on my radar that I'd love to pick up sometime soon. If they end up being picked up in the new year, that is totally fine with me. This is just a list, I guess, to keep myself accountable. And yes, Winnie is joining us today. I have put on the dryer, and she's terrified of the dryer for some reason. I do not know why. So we have little Miss Scaredy Cat over here. Little Miss Scaredy Cat. I don't have these books necessarily in order. They are just 10 books that I would like to pick up. First one that I have is Ruthless Creatures by J.T. Geisinger. That name is so hard for me to say. But I think this is the first book in a very popular dark mafia series. And I have yet to read any books by this author, but I've heard rave reviews about this series in general, and it being like very fun mafia series that is very dark. And I've been in kind of that mood. More so, honestly, my romantasy era is kind of, or paranormal era also is kind of coming back. I am feeling the mafia stuff. I am. So I put this on this list. I did just get my Libby Holden, so let's see if I will get to it. Because of my slump, I've been really bad with my Libby recently and letting holds lapse over. There are like 10 holds in my Libby that have been suspended because they changed the method of holds and whatnot. If you miss a hold on Libby, they like make it suspended and you can unsuspend it. I don't know, it's very weird to me now, but I have like 10 books that are suspended currently. So yeah, your girl's been bad. Anyway, I've heard great things about this dark romance. I know nothing about it, honestly. I don't love to go into dark romances knowing a lot. I might look up like the triggers because there are 1 or 2 that don't strike my fancy, but for the most part I like to go in blind with those. So Good Spirits by B.K. Borison is definitely on this list. I have the audiobook through my Libro FM. I need to get to it. This is one of the most stunning covers I've ever seen in my life. I'm obsessed with it. But I love B.K. Borison's books. I do. I love her Love Light Farm series, and First Time Caller was a great read for me. I assume I'm going to absolutely love this. So I think it has something about ghosts in here. A Christmas Carol kind of vibe, I think. Please correct me if I am wrong. But it has something to do with ghosts and it being Christmas time. And that's all I know. I'm gonna go blind into this one also because I just love B.K. Borison's book. She's an auto-author for me at this point. Once Upon a Demon's Heart is another book that is available to me through Libro. And a bunch of my BookTube friends have been reading this book recently or putting it on their TBRs. The cover is stunning. The vibes for this, the summary just seems like my type of book. I think I read the first chapter of this one on Kindle like a month or 2 ago, and I put it down because I knew I was going to be getting the audiobook in, and your girl wants to listen on audio as much as possible. Okay, like if there's an option to listen to the audiobook for free, I will do it. I will do it. This one, our heroine comes from a fantasy realm, I think with 2 warring kingdoms. And she has been cursed to be on this time loop where at the end of the time loop, she gets killed by this dangerous knight. The loop always ends with her being killed and starting either the week or the day all over again and her having to be killed at the end of it. Like it is a never ending loop. It's happened, I want to say like 15 times. Like it keeps going on and on and on. And the only way to break that loop is to marry the man who is trying to kill her, to like save their people in this war apparently. So that it sounded so interesting. I am so excited to read it. Bride by Ali Hazelwood is on this list. I'm actually currently reading this one. I have about 3 hours left in the audiobook. This one is mainly for the Romantasy book club that I run at the bookstore that I work at. We're reading Mate, so Mate could also be on this list. But I obviously needed to read Bride before I picked up Mate. Bride is the arranged marriage romance between our hero, who is a werewolf, and our heroine who is a vampire. And these species don't get along. They're at war. It's kind of like a alliance marriage of sorts. I have a theory that they're probably fated mates or something. It's been hinted at multiple times, so I'm not oblivious. But so far it's fun. The heroine is trying to find out what happened to her best friend slash like adoptive sister. She disappeared months ago, and the only connection that she has to her is her husband. So that's pretty interesting. So we'll see what happens there. Getting It On with Gargoyles is another paranormal romance, more on the monster side than anything. And I will admit I've already read this. I made this list 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago. I can't remember. Time does not exist in my head, okay? But anyway, I put this on this list before I read it. I have read it since then, so one is already done, checked off the list. But if you like Ruby Dixon's low angst, insta-lust, insta-love, fated mate, monster romance stuff to just eat like candy, this series is going to be for you, because I've already also read the second book in the series. They're on my Hoopla. I don't know if it's on everyone's Hoopla, but they're on mine, this whole series. This is a small town monster romance series. These three sisters starts out with these three sisters finding this map and deciding to follow it for like shits and gigs. They come across this town in the middle of nowhere where monsters exist, and they may or may not be witches, and they never knew that. And one of the sisters, this is her book specifically, her romance with one of the gargoyles who protects the town. So each romance is about someone in the magical town falling in love, maybe with one of the witches or someone else in the magical town as well. But yeah, very much Ruby Dixon vibes with like the banter, the spice is good, but the monster fun. Like the second book I read, he is a troll, and the size difference is absolutely crazy, that they have to like take a potion for multiple days in order for it to fit. Like, it's fun, okay? They're fun. So if you want like fun little bits of candy to eat that are fun, entertaining, spicy reads that are very insta-lovey, fated mates, like pick up this series. So Getting Out with Gargoyles, fun. Very fun. Next, I have Lady Sophia's Lover by Lisa Kleypas. I just wanted to put another Lisa Kleypas on this list because I want to try to read her whole backlist. There are going to be some titles I probably can't snag my hands on due to out-of-print copies or rare copies. But this is the second book. I think there's 3 books in this series. I think it's called the Bow Street Runners series. But Lady Sophia is going to become the assistant to the guy who runs the Bow Street Runners. Kind of think like detectives, kind of. Anyway, becomes his assistant and is there with another mission to maybe take this man down because he may or may not be responsible for her brother's death. But then this man is falling in love with her, and she may or may not also be falling in love with him, even though she's supposed to be taking him down. Look at the step back for that one. She comes in clutch with like her old school step backs. I could stare at them for hours, for days. So I wanted to put another Lisa Kleypas book on this list so that I could snag another one done off my list. I'm a little worried because the first book in this series is like the only Lisa Kleypas book I don't really like. So hopefully I like this one. Another historical is To Taste Temptation by Elizabeth Hoyt. I actually know nothing about this book at all, but it's the first book in another series by her. There's 4 books in this series. It's the first book. It's the only one in the series I do not own physically because I try and find Elizabeth Hoyt books while I'm at Half Price Books or Goodwill, like secondhand shops, because I can find a lot of Elizabeth Hoyt books there. But I've yet to find the first book in this series, To Taste Temptation. And I always try to find the ones with step backs specifically because some of the reprinting of her books, they have no step backs in them. Her step backs, either more stunning or equally as stunning as Lisa Kleypas's, because a lot of them are 2-pager ones. But anyway, To Taste Temptation, I don't know what the summary is about, but I just finished her Maiden Lane series. That was like 12 books long. And this one only has 4. And I'm like, okay, I think I can do that. I think I can manage that. I love Elizabeth Hoyt's writing. So if I'm in the mood for historical and I'm done with Lady Sophia's Lover, I will pick up To Taste Temptation and hopefully I like it, because I've heard mixed reviews about this series, that it's not as good as her Maiden Lane. I've heard really good things about the Beauty and the Beast retelling one in this series, which is not book number 1. But I want to read these books in order. So I need to do that in order to get to that one. This book has been on many TBRs recently and I just haven't gotten around to it. I think I've read this much, but anyway, this is Stone Hearts by S.E. Wendell. I got like this far the way through. What chapter? I'm on chapter 2. Okay, chapter 2. I've read one chapter of this book, but this is a monster romance between a gargoyle who's pink, that's her heroine, and a fae man, and their people, I think, are at war with each other. This is the prequel to a series by S.E. Wendell. I don't remember the series title off the top of my head. I think it maybe says it somewhere. Okay, the first main title is Heart Song, which is a part of the War of the Underhill series. So this is a prequel to that. And yeah, they're fated mates, I'm pretty sure. And I think they're either trying to fight that they're fated mates or they don't know that they're fated mates. And it takes place, I think, in like time jumps throughout the centuries of them knowing each other. But I just could not pick this up when I saw her at a signing earlier this year, because look at how beautiful and stunning this is. I've also heard great things about S.E. Wendell's books from my friend B from Mama Needs to Read Romance. She got me onto Halfling by S.E. Wendell, which is her orc, half-orc romance. I loved that book. I feel like I'm going to love this one as well. It is pretty short, so I think I could read it. I can hunker down and read it, okay? I need to. Please Don't Go is another one that has been influenced for me to read by one of my BookTube Bookstagram friends. She does not know this, but Caitlin from The Love Librarian, she has been a few months ago or a month ago was posting about this book nonstop on her Bookstagram, and it just seems right up my alley. This cover definitely hooked me, but this book deals a lot with mental health representation. I've read the first chapter, I'm pretty sure, of this. I want to finish it. That's why it's on this list, so I can finish it before the end of the year. But the first chapter literally is about the heroine standing on the edge of a cliff, about to jump, and the hero just walking along and finding her and standing there with her and trying to convince her to live life again. And that is a very, very powerful opening. I feel like I'm gonna love this. I think either one of them or both of them are professional swimmers, or like college swimmers. And I used to be a competitive swimmer, so I'm actually really looking forward to this one, and I hope I love it. I have to be in the right mindset to possibly cry. If you are triggered by self-harm or suicide, maybe don't pick this one up. And lastly, I have Sweet Prison by Neva Altaj, which is the next book in her Mafia romance series that I have not read yet. I want to say maybe like book 9 or book 10. I do not know. I don't know what this book is about, but I want to continue on with Neva's series. I love these Mafia romances. They are Mafia romances that focus on perfectly imperfect people. You don't really get to see in Mafia romances people with disabilities, physical or mental health struggles. You don't really see that a lot in dark romances. You don't really see that a lot in Mafia romances specifically, and I love that Neva does in these books. So I have a feeling I'm going to really like this one. I don't even know what it's about, but I really adore almost all of these books. They're short and entertaining and fun and very character driven, which is what I love out of my romance books. So anyways, there you have it. Those are 10 books that I would love to read before the end of the year. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books or if you plan to. And if you don't feel like commenting anything else, you can leave me. What emoji should we do? Let's do a dog, because Winnie is right here freaking out. Hello. She's being good though. She normally is not one to sit in my lap. She loves to sit in her bed. So you know she's freaking out if she's letting me hold her like this. Anyway, she'll be okay though. She will be okay. The dryer is apparently a very, very, very scary thing for her. Thank y'all so much for watching. I will see y'all soon in my next one. Bye y'all.
Oh, and I keep finding dog ears that you left in my books. Miss your ache and I just crash over, cause you crashed in like a tsunami. Woke up next to you so hungover, sunlight painted stripes.